Okay, so please excuse my eyes if they go up here because I've got a huge screen in front of me and I've got it just in front of me. So I'm Jo McClure. My business is JM Virtual Business Services. We have been around for 4.5 years, and I started off as a sole trader. Why me? Why am I here today speaking with you? What makes me knowledgeable on a virtual assistant business? I have grown my team from a sole trader to a company, and I'm now a team of 11. In that team of 11, we have a combined admin experience of over 100 years in different industries, in different areas. Some of my girls specialize in different things, so it really brings a lot to the table. We have a high level of skill set, and I have high expectations of all of my work and all of my staff's work. And I have been, over the last 3 years, mentoring a lot of new VAs coming into the business. And I speak with them on an ad hoc basis. They just give me a call when they need to have a chat. I don't charge for those services. I really enjoy just giving back to our industry and helping people along their journey. I'm currently it's the Australian Association for Virtual Industry Professionals. So that's our main association, and I have been voted onto the board, and I'm vice president of that. We have a common strategy and goal of raising the profile of our industry association to that of CPA Australia, or a big organisation as big as that. We have an accredited course that you can do. There is only one person who's actually accredited in Australia at the moment, that's listed on our website, that's current. All of the board members have completed theirs, and we're currently going through we've got external auditors going through the accreditation application, and I've just been advised that I am now quality accredited, so that should come out on all our websites and what have you from now. So that's huge. That's our first step in such an emerging, like the BPO industry has been around for many years, since the 80s or even before. And by BPO, I mean business process outsourcing. It is a global industry, but we are just really finding our feet now that technology is caught up with where we need to be. And also with the pandemic, everything has just come to the forefront, and everyone understands the working from home philosophy and getting the most out of their people. And people are looking at their business structures and looking to see how can they expand without having to take on staff? How can they grow and scale and be competitive in their own industry with the bigger players? And that's where virtual assistants are really coming to the fore now. The other thing is, as I say, I've been around for 4.5 years. I'm a serial networker. I'm out there pounding the pavement on Zoom as well, both face-to-face and Zoom. And my brand is well known. I had someone call me from Sydney yesterday saying that she'd heard about me, and that as soon as she started saying, oh, I'm going to be speaking with this VA that I've found in Melbourne, everyone had asked her, oh, is it Jo from JM Virtual Business Services? So JM Virtual Business Services is now becoming a really well-known brand within Australia. And before I started networking, officially, I belong to a couple of networking groups, BBG and a couple of others. I was always introducing people. I used to call myself a facilitator. So people who knew me would come to me and say, Jo, I need somebody. I need this, or I need that. Do you know someone who can help me with this? And I'm just always, oh, I know someone who can help you with that. Let me introduce you. So I was always doing that. And I always make a point of finding quality connections so that the quality equals my own expectations. If I wouldn't use a person, then I wouldn't recommend them. If my services are not up to scratch, we own it, we fix it, and we get training on what we need to do to make it better. So I make a point of finding people who are like-minded and who absolutely share the same values that we do, or I do. And I nurture them. So that's where it comes back to being a mentor. I nurture. If I can see promise in an upcoming VA or somebody who's had huge industry experience as an executive assistant or a personal assistant, I'm happy to help them and get them started on their VA journey. So yeah, that's why me. So on the agenda today, we're going to discuss three main areas. The first area being growth. How can a VA help your business to grow? The second is, what services does a VA cover? What tasks can I give a VA to do for me so that, I can do what I do best within my business? And how to find the right fit for your business, how to choose the right VA for you. So how can a VA assist with growth? There are three areas that we can assist. It can be ongoing, remote assistance. That could be your day-to-day stuff. It freeing you up. You don't have to worry about your inbox. Somebody's on top of that. They will meet with you however often you need. It could be every morning, it could be once or twice a week, and go through the things that they need input from you on. Otherwise, we can be left to our own devices and make sure that everything administrative is run to your satisfaction, and you can just focus on what you do best. We can give peak time support. For example, we have a couple of bookkeepers that we work with. I have separate girls on each of those bookkeeping accounts so that there's no conflict of interest for either of them. We're very conscious of that as well. So that your data is in good hands. There's a confidentiality clause in our agreements. We're happy to sign NDAs and all of that kind of thing, but we can offer peak time support. So during this time in Australia, we've got, just because we've got a couple of international people here, it's our end of our financial year today. So there's a couple of bookkeepers that we're working with at the moment just to help get their client data up to date so that then they can run the financial year-end process. It's a really good example of peak time support. Other examples are, if you've got a presentation, I work with a business coach and I only ever hear from her when she's absolutely in a flap. The last time was she was presenting to a group of 1,000 people. The next day, we pretty much stayed up all night and got the presentation done. It ended up being 100 slides. It was fantastic. While she was presenting, we were then doing the one-page takeaway that kind of picked out the high-level points of her slides. And so by the time she was finished with her presentation, we had emailed her the document that then she could email out to the attendees. So that was really good. We can do overflow of phone calls. If you find that a certain period of time within your business gets really busy or you're going away, we can do the virtual reception. Any VAs can do any of these things. This is not just what we do, but obviously from my experience, this is what we do. But also a VA can expand your in-house skill set. So you don't have to hire in-house an admin person to do your accounts payable receivable. You don't have to hire someone in-house to do answering your virtual reception or your reception. You don't have to hire somebody to do, the day-to-day, daily social media posting, scheduling, all that kind of thing. We can do that. So instead of having to grow your business really early on in your journey, you can outsource these tasks to a VA so that your business looks bigger than it is. And then once you're ready to bring on staff in-house, we can then train your new staff members on the roles that we were doing. So, and then we work in partnership and we can do your overflow work. So there are three really specific areas that we can really help with in that sense. I've got 3 case studies here based on what we actually do. These are real life case studies. We work on these clients every day. So this first client is a business in the construction industry. Our client is an owner-operator. He's on the tools 5 days a week or 6 days a week, and he is incredibly time poor. Anyone knows a trade person, they also know what they know and they do what they do extremely well. But when it comes to anything administration, they don't really want to know about it. They don't want to have to worry about the invoicing. They don't want to have to worry about stock levels of screws or nuts and bolts or whatever. They don't want to have to worry about putting their job through a system and allocating the work out and then calling the clients and saying, oh, well, this is where the job's at. We'll need to come back. Let's rebook another time. We do all of that for them. So for this particular client, we provide end-to-end administrative support, and that includes the virtual reception, customer, supplier, and in-house nurturing. In-house nurturing, and what I mean by that is communicating with their staff so that everyone knows what they've got on in their calendars. They know what jobs they're going to on what day. They know what's coming up in advance so that they can be prepared to do their best job for your business. Obviously, customers, keeping them up to date with where the jobs are at, if things need to be booked. It might be that you're doing a shower rebuild because there's been a leak. So you pull out the shower, then you have to waterproof it. That waterproofing needs a couple of days. In fact, if you pull out the shower and it's got some damage behind it and you can't pull it all out, you actually need to leave the cavity open for a few days to let it dry. So they let that happen. So it's all this communication with the client. This is what's going to happen. This is how long this takes. Once we've done that, we've booked in this person to come in on this day to do this. Then the next day, this person comes in to do that, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously supplier, we're in touch with the suppliers, making sure all the invoices are up to date, making sure that, because obviously suppliers won't supply you with your nuts and bolts and your materials if your invoices aren't up to date. And we do the step-by-step coordination of the job. So we're very proficient on any systems, basically. We love IT systems. We love platforms. We're Zoho partners, and this week we've become Monday.com partners as well. But also within our team, we have a ServiceMate partner. We understand a whole lot of different platforms that people use to run their businesses. In this instance, this client uses ServiceMate. So what we do is all the jobs come in via email. Once they come in, we load them into the system, and then they go through the process of allocation to the different staff members, ordering the products the materials we need to do the job, communicating with the customers on what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. Are they going to be home? We need to make sure they're home to get access into their properties often, all that kind of thing. And then we follow that through right until the end. We raise all of the certificates that need to be raised. They get sent out to the appropriate associations and to the customer and to the insurance people. And we also then manage the invoicing from start to finish. We work with, one of my girls is currently doing her BAS agents course, so we're not BAS agents yet. We work with this particular client's accountant to do the payroll, and so we put in all the timesheets for payroll and all that kind of thing, and then the accountant does the payroll, pushes the button at the end of the day, and all of the BAS and all that kind of thing. But we work hand in hand with other contacts to make sure that everything happens so that the owner of this business knows at the end of the day the jobs are well taken care of. He can focus on doing what he does best. He does fabulous. He's a carpenter by trade. He does very intricate work. He works on a lot of renovations as well, just for old buildings and what have you. So he does very intricate work. He's absolutely fantastic. So we make sure that he can focus on what he loves to do. So he's passionate. Every morning he gets up and he loves to go to work. That's what we enable. We are also helping at the moment. There's a huge skills shortage in Victoria, and I know it's across the globe, but we're helping him with finding the trades he needs to bring on board as staff. So we're helping him with the advertising on Indeed and Seek and all of that kind of thing. We're helping with the initial interviews. We basically are shortlisting candidates for him, and organising the interviews for him, so he can then do 3 interviews at the end of the day and choose which one. Then we organise the whole onboarding for that staff member. So as I've gone through, we enabled this customer to stay on the tools without interruption. We also answer their phones. So we've put him onto our phone system as well. He forwards his mobile phone to us and his business phone to us. We answer we answer all of his reception phones, and then because he's on our system, we can transfer a call back if it's really important, if it's something he's waiting on, and we communicate constantly with him. He's been able to take on more jobs. He talks about turning on the tap because he's got a business that can scale quickly. We can scale with him because we've got the staff to do so. We've got 2 people currently focused just on his work alone, but I can bring in any of my other 11 staff members at any time. We're training them up in the background so they can step in and expand his admin team. So once he scales, we can scale, and it can happen overnight. It can happen so quickly because we've got the ability to do so. The outcome he's seen is he's seen a 30% growth in his business alone this year. And he has plans to scale further from the team of 5 he has now to the team of 20 within the next 12 months. And because he works with the insurance industry as well, he's planning on leveling up and becoming the people that, so at the moment he's the 3rd stage. The insurance company gives all the jobs to one particular builder and then they farm them out to different smaller builders. So he's planning on leveling up to the next level. So he's going to be getting the jobs from his insurers. So he's got great plans, and we are absolutely on track to enable that to happen for him. As he grows, we grow. It's a win-win situation. The second one is it's a hands-off.
Jo,
Yeah.
can just before you go on to the next person,
Yes.
first of all, wow, there's so many things that you're doing that I would never have imagined that you were doing.
Right.
It's phenomenal. What I'd love you to do is we've got a request to increase the size of your screen. So maybe if you can do that, that would be great. Just put into slideshow mode. So yeah, present full screen. Present school for you had it there.
I had it there.
You had it there. You had it there. So there, present full screen. That just big that. Yeah, that one up.
Okay. Awesome.
So we've got a request for that. So yep.
I actually can't see anything now.
Oh, okay. Then go back to what you. Yeah, no, nothing's showing up for us either.
That's weird.
Just go back to where you were, maybe.
Can you see now?
Yes, the same view, but just keep going. It's all good. But wow, what a lot of things that you're doing for the company. It sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's been great fun, and it's what we love to do. We virtual assistants by nature are people who love helping other people. We love getting our hands dirty. We love getting involved in a business and becoming part of that business. And we get such excitement when we see our clients grow. We just love it. It's our jam, like some people hate admin. We love it. My apologies for the size of the screen. So this one is an interesting one. It's an online retail business. They've been running for about 2.5 years. We were there when they launched. We did the training before they even launched their business. The directors are hands off. They own the business, but it's not their primary business. It's their little pet project on the side. It's a total 100% online platform, and it's not in retail stores. Our manufacturer is located in Melbourne. They're a family-run company. They've been around for 45 plus years, and they're a high-end mattress company. So the services we provide for this particular company is virtual reception. So we answer all of their phone calls, all their incoming phone calls. We manage their logistics and their support emails. We manage their live chat Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And we also do manage all of their customer, supplier, and so they're customer and suppliers. So we manage, so the order will come into the system. They've just gone from BigCommerce to Shopify. They've changed over. They're finding that much better. Once the orders come in, they'll come into the logistics emails. We then make sure that the suppliers have got that. So instantly the supplier gets the email, the factory, the manufacturer gets the email so they can put it in their system. We make sure that happens. We have a system that we look at to make sure it's in there. We also notify the transport company that this is coming. And then basically we follow the journey of that order. So clients obviously get those automated responses saying, thank you for your order, this is your order, here are your tracking numbers. Obviously when they get dispatched from the factory, that's when they get their tracking numbers and all that kind of thing. But we often get lots of queries, where's my mattress at, where's my order at? With transport these days, there's been lots of unforeseen delays and all that kind of thing. So it's a full-time job pretty much. There's 3 of us working on this. We do their accounts payable, receivable. And recently they have expanded and taken on 2 new staff. And their new staff, so one's focused on marketing and growing the business, and the other staff member is focused on doing the live chats and the telephone and basically what we do, so that we will then become their overflow. But as it's working out, we're working day to day with them anyway, because they've expanded so much. The 2 staff just aren't enough. So they've still got 2 of us on chats and 2 of us on phones. And I say us because I'm still doing the chats and phones myself as well. I'm assisting. But I have trained and nurtured their staff member and trained her up on exactly what I do for the business and what we've done over the past 2 years. She knows the history of everything. So I've trained and nurtured her over the last 2 months. And so she is as knowledgeable about the business as I am. All the processes that are in place are the ones that we've developed for them. And then she and I have refined since she came on board. And it's all located within their own systems. We don't keep any of the system's documentation or anything like that. We always use our client systems, so they own everything. So we have enabled the directors to be free to focus on their primary business. They have little to no daily input on the business at all. We have set boundaries on refunds and things like that. There are absolute policies on everything. We've established this over the last 2.5 years. This business has scaled. The first sale we made in December, when was it? December 2019, I think it was, something like that. It was like we were celebrating, we were jumping up and down for joy. We made probably 2 or 3 sales in that first December, but it was fantastic. So the business didn't have to pay a full-time staff member from the get-go. So that in itself was a huge saving to them. It's enabled them to actually become really established. We had 8 orders come in just overnight alone last night. So it's enabled the business to get to the point where it's selling hundreds of mattresses a week, and with little to no overheads of staff. They're now having to incur that because they've grown so substantially. The other thing that's happened is the manufacturer has contacted me in the last couple of weeks and said, because of the growth of this particular brand, we have had to double our business. we actually need 3 full-time admin people on site. Do you know anyone that you can recommend? So I have now been looking around just to help the guys out, because I know what it's like at this side of it. When we're getting the orders in, they are absolutely stretched at the factory and they're not keeping up with some of the orders. So I can see the benefit. If we get somebody or a couple of people in there, then we can help. So I'm at the point where I'm about to sit down with the manufacturer and say, okay, I can't find somebody full-time, but one of my team members who already knows what you do and why you do it can assist in the interim until we find someone. So that's a really exciting little project we've got going on there. But the big thing is we've enabled this business to scale without having to employ employees. They've grown to a 7-figure business within 18 months. Now they've got the 2 staff. They've been able to level up with the transport partners. So they were using, just because it's a specialised mattress, they're really luxurious. They need 2 people to carry them and deliver them. A lot of transport partners will go business to business. They won't go business to customer or direct. So it's really been difficult. We've been very limited with the transport partners we could use. So we were in, obviously, on the kind of first level capital transport. We'd use them. We'd use a couple of other transport companies. We've now been able to level up. We're now with Capital Group rather than with Capital Transport. So we can actually utilise their full system from the parent company. We actually have deliveries just going from the factory to their Melbourne warehouse every day, and then Capital Transport distribute across Australia-wide. It's a much bigger, higher paying service, obviously, but it's absolutely streamlined everything that happens within this business. So we've enabled that because they wouldn't have been able to afford to do that had they been paying for staff from the get-go. And the manufacturers had to scale up their business to keep up with demand. So that's a really exciting story. I love telling it. And we're still like daily hands-on. Even though they've got 2 staff, their business is just growing exponentially. So we can absolutely keep assisting them in the manner that which we've been doing from day one. Okay, I specifically chose this particular one, conveyances. We've had a number of conveyances that we've worked with over the years. And it's a really good short story. So they're all initially been sole traders, owner-operators on the tools. So somebody will come to them, say, I want to buy a house, here's the contract of sale, or I want to sell my house, here's the contract of sale, here's the Section 32, or whatever you need to provide them. The conveyancer actually has to take the time. It's a legal document. They need to review it. Every document is different, and there's always a sneaky little clause or 2. So it's a legal document. You need to focus. When you're a sole trader, the phone doesn't stop ringing. So you've got conveyancers who are trying to read legal documents to make sure that what their clients are signing are absolutely spot on and airtight, and the phone keeps ringing. So what we've been able to do with a lot of conveyancers is answer the phones for them so that they can then block out their time to do their legal process, basically, and to perform settlements. At the moment, the building industry in Australia is absolutely gone nuts over the last 10 years. So conveyancers have just been run off their feet, and there are so many of them around. And they will constantly, they all start off as sole traders generally, and the phone calls always interrupt their contract reviews and settlements and what have you, and then they miss new business. So what we provide is a service we call Catch and Dispatch. It's basically virtual reception. We know enough about the business so that if there are any questions about how much do these services cost, et cetera, we can tell the customer that. If it's a new customer, we can log into our conveyancers calendars, make a booking for them for their new client. We can then give them a list of things that they need to have ready for this first meeting. So already they're one step ahead. They're going to be coming to this meeting already prepared, so that the conveyancer can already just start working on the file. If it's not a new customer and it's just an existing customer who's ringing to get an update, we can either get updates provided via the system if that particular conveyancer gives us access to a system. Doesn't happen often. Most times we just do, we take a message and we get the message to them, and the conveyancer will call them back. And they normally block out time. We help them manage their calendars so they can block out blocks of time. So we'll say, for example, Joe's unavailable at the moment. However, we have a set time for callbacks today. It's going to be between 3 and 4 p.m. Are you going to be available during that time? If not, tomorrow it's going to be between 1 and 2. And we'll put you on the list for callbacks during that time. So we can absolutely manage when you're going to have these phone calls, so that you have a block of them. And I think that's really important when managing a business. You know, phones are always ringing, they're always interrupting. It takes 20 minutes to get back to the task you were doing once you've answered a phone call. By the time you get your head back into where you were, pick up where you left off, it really takes 20 minutes. I've timed it. So obviously we make the bookings with new clients. We help them with their time management. We've seen increases in clients exponentially. These businesses that we've helped, these conveyancing businesses that we helped, have all purported growing 150% within 12 months. They've been absolutely huge. So we've been able to assist them in their growth to the point where they can employ somebody else to come into the business. It might be that they're training up a new conveyancer, so that person is still doing their schooling for being a conveyancer. So they answer some of the calls, but then they concentrate on the contracts and doing all their schoolwork and getting qualified. So we've enabled 4 conveyancers to date to grow from a one-man band to teams of 3, 4, and 5. So it's really exciting. We love it. And they all recommend each other to us. It's fantastic. So they've been able to employ additional staff, and they've tripled their staff numbers. And we give a high level of customer service, personalised service. Our particular service, we're all 100% onshore in Australia. So they're getting an Australian that they're speaking to, and we get to know the businesses that we're answering phones for. So we understand who will be calling, what kind of questions they'll be asking, and we'll be able to answer any of the first level, inquiries that might come through. So that's the third case study I had. Does anyone have any questions? I might just pause there for a sec. No?
Got any questions, team? Are you listening intently to how incredible it is to have someone support you so that you can do the stuff you love doing and you do it well?
I'm interested just to know a bit more, because Jo, you said about using all 100% Australian. I'm interested to know a bit more about that, because I know a lot of outsourcing doesn't do that.
Yes, it's my differentiator, and as Barbara has confirmed, there is an absolute place for outsourcing overseas. In my experience, and I've run a Manila office in a previous life at another company. In my experience, customer service, customer-facing tasks at the moment really people want that to happen in Australia. Even Telstra is bringing their call centre back to Australia. I think that says it all. But there's an absolute place for overseas. I just don't do overseas, but I do have referral partners that I use that I recommend to customers that come to me wanting to know if I knew somebody that overseas I could recommend. Absolutely. And there are really great VAs overseas. Like, some of them are just sensational. And you can give some of them the customer facing stuff. So it's just a matter of who you engage, and obviously I can recommend some quality businesses to recommend. But yeah, my whole team are located in Australia. I've got one VA in Brisbane, one in South Australia, and the rest are in Victoria. Not by design, they're all ladies. I have a fellow in Bendigo who is dying to get on my team. I just need to get the right work in for him. So that's the other thing. I've got people knocking on my door saying, I really want to work with you and your team. So I go out and look for work that suits their skill set. And I have fun doing that. That's great. Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've always sort of been a bit torn between this whole thing of, the whole thing's always pushed for, you can get all these, effectively cheaper labour overseas through Filipinos, etc. But yeah, I have still a moral dilemma over it that, it's not really good for Australia and that sort of thing. So, we've got a minimum wage here, and to me, it's just really undermines the minimum wage. But I don't know. Everyone jumps on the bandwagon. So if you want to be competitive, do you have to, jump on the same bandwagon? But it's good. I think it's good if you're pushing Australia, getting more Aussies into work. It's good.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. How do you charge? Because you're based in Australia, I mean, what would be the difference in, for instance, hiring one of your people than me going out and hiring a part-time person? You know what I mean?
We charge by the hour.
Right.
And I find that works really well. We can also do packs of hours, which you have a little bit of a discount on. And I find that works really well. Yes, it is. Look, it's two different service offerings essentially for outsourced overseas VAs and insourced, I like to call them, in Australia VAs. By charging by the hour with 1 hour minimum, no lock-in contracts. I do have contracts, absolutely, but I don't lock people into them if they need to move on. And I find people who move on tend to come back. They only tend to move on because they've grown their business, they've brought someone in-house to do that, then they've given that person other stuff to do and they come back to us. So yeah, it's whereas if you go overseas, you tend to get either part-time or full-time. They don't do it by the hour 9 times out of 10. And the skill level, I think there's a lot more management involved in and having experienced it myself, having managed an overseas team, there's a lot more management involved in managing a VA overseas. You need to provide a lot more guidance, a lot more hand-holding. With VAs in Australia, you'll find that we can generally hit the ground running. 90% of us have been temps at one stage or another, where you get thrown into a business and within an hour you need to pick up what you're doing and yep, not a problem, get into that work, we'll get that done. We're can-do people, we think outside the box, we can quickly pick things up and run with them. If there's processes in place, all the better. If they're documented, gold. Otherwise, it doesn't worry us. We just get in and get it done. But I find with overseas VAs, you literally have to design that process for them and then manage them through that. Once they know what they're doing, and if it's step by step by step, then they're generally pretty good. And I am being very generalized here. And there are VAs that overseas that you can throw things at and they will just get it done and they think outside the box. Don't get me wrong. But generally speaking, that's been in my experience what I've found.
Sounds to me, Barbara, sorry. It sounds to me like the difference is really, there's a lot of creation of the systems and running and setting up an organization that happens onshore. And I think the thing that most businesses really struggle with is not the getting the work done, because even most people can do the admin themselves, but creating the system that somebody can follow where it allows you to grow your business so that you can step away from it because you can trust the system is the differentiator, sounds like.
Yes.
And, you know, from what you're sharing, I think the other side of it as well is that once those systems are set up, you could flick it somewhere else if you wanted to,
Absolutely.
right? But it's about creation of that environment where the organization really ticks at top pace, because you know that everything's working the way it should. Jo, I'm going to let you keep going.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah.
Yes, I'm running out of time, aren't I?
Yeah, you're running out of time. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Cool. I just wanted to say one thing. There's no reason why, if you've got overseas VAs, there's no reason why an Australian VA can't work with them and manage them on your behalf. So, you know, that then it could be you might have 5 hours a week of management time for an Australian VM, and then the rest of the time could be your overseas VA. Just a thought, putting it out there. Okay, so the things that we do provide, and I've mentioned them so I can breeze through these: virtual reception, catch and dispatch or conversation and sales course, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We use our client systems and we answer them in your business name. Virtual assistant can do things like email and calendar management, filing, archiving, travel management, website maintenance, accounts payable, receivable, social media management, the day-to-day scheduling, CRM entry, basic research, all of those kind of things, all the general day-to-day stuff. For an executive assistant, and there is a difference, an executive assistant is more event management, client relationship management, thinking outside the square, pipeline management. So, you know, we could do almost BDM style work. I've got a couple of ex-BDMs in my team. We can do basic website review and development, marketing, lead generation, strategy for social media, website, webinar hosting. So I'm a facilitator. I tend, like JR, I tend to host a lot of webinars for my clients, and we have question and answers and all that kind of thing. Any kind of advanced research, content management, creation, reporting and analysis we can do, and that's more in the executive kind of space. Also board level assistance is under executive assistance. The other things that we do are business process reviews and for business optimization. So we look at the processes you've currently got, see if we can streamline, automate, put onto a platform that will grow with your business, like Zoho or Monday or Freshworks we're about to become a partner with as well. We can do project management, change management, strategy for marketing, advanced campaign development, business operations strategy. We can assist setting up new businesses. I've got 3 that I'm setting up with people at the moment. We can obviously mentor and train new staff that you bring into your business. New tool and system implementations, obviously we do that. We all have a very strong CRM background, using and implementing CRMs. So that's kind of what we do, the 3 areas of my business. Okay, how do you know what tasks you can give a VA? So JR will distribute this.
Should I drop it in the chat now? Should I drop it in the chat box?
That'd be great, thank you. I love this Mark Twain quote. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into manageable tasks, and then waste not time starting on the first one. So that basically encapsulates everything that I preach. You know what you know, but how do you identify what tasks you can give to a VA? So this workbook that's posted here takes you through the process of identifying what tasks you do. Whoops, go back, Jo. What tasks you do. So the process is you identify what tasks you do in a day and you put a time next to it. What tasks you do in a month and you put times next to it. It takes me, you know, to get everything reconciled in Xero, it takes me 3 hours at month end or whatever it might be. You know, email management, an hour a day. Calendar management, 20 minutes here and there. Put it all in daily, monthly, yearly columns with your times, and then go through each column and say, does it require my skill set to do that task? If not, put it in the VA column and go through and do that. And then go, what don't I like doing or what don't I get to do? Put that in the VA column. And then at the end of the day, you have got daily, monthly, yearly list of tasks with identified timings of what you can give to a VA. It's just something I put together. It's how I identify and analyze when I go onto a client site. Now I give the workbook and everyone does it themselves, and it's quite easy. The other way to identify tasks that you can give to a VA, and this is at the back of the workbook, is a checklist. So if you select any of these boxes, you can give any of those tasks to a VA. It's just a matter of, okay, what do I want? Set up email autoresponders. I'd love to be able to do that. Right. Okay. That might take an hour of our time to set it up for you once we work out what emails you want responded to. But, you know, and we can do that for you on an ad hoc basis. So that's another way to identify what tasks you can give to a VA. Okay. I rushed through that one. Does anyone have any questions? If you've got any questions while you're doing the checklist or going through the workbook, feel free to email me, call me, whatever. I'm happy to have a chat with you at any time. Okay, so how do you find the right fit for your business? Not every VA is right for you. You know, you can't put a square peg in a round hole. It's like when you're looking to employ an executive assistant or a personal assistant, you need to have some kind of chemistry between you. You need to have an understanding of what that person's about, because an executive assistant and a personal assistant and a virtual assistant essentially are an extension of you. They're the ones that are going to be responding to your emails on your behalf. They need to understand your tone of voice. They need to understand your values, your mission, your goals. They need to understand all of that. And to do that, you need to communicate, obviously, but instantly there has to be that chemistry between the two of you. I was saying earlier on about this meeting I had with this lady who called me out of the blue yesterday. She'd seen my website. She called me. She'd been looking for a VA forever. We had a chat and we were both getting so excited on the phone. Oh my God, and we do this and we both just really connected so well. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that. I'm so excited to be working with this person. So do your homework, do your due diligence on a VA. Not every VA is the same. Look for reviews. And, you know, some of them, like I've got a 1-star review on mine. It was from a disgruntled customer who didn't pay for his services. And then he logged on as somebody else and did it. And it's like, everyone's going to have 1 or 2 of those, right? But look for the reviews. Look for what the majority of the reviews are. If they're 4 and 5 stars out of 5, absolutely. Have a chat with them, even 3 stars. They might not be the right fit for the customers that they have. They might be the right fit for you, though. Ask around, ask for recommendations. If my business or my girls aren't a fit for you, I know so many VAs and I'm really well connected. I can probably find one that's a really good fit for you for that specific thing that you're looking to have assistance with, or for your business if you're looking for all of business assistance. Look for certified EAs. So I've got my MBA and I've got a business administration cert 4. I got that many years ago, but I've also got my MBA. Look for people who have got qualifications for business administration, whether it's an MBA, whether it's Cert 4 or Cert 3 even. Look on AVIP website and in about a month, and you'll see there'll be six different businesses with very different skill set, very different niches that should be able to assist you because they've been audited, they've got the qualifications, they've been by an external 2 or 3 external auditors, have gone through the process like what you do with the CPA. It's the same process. So we've been audited, we are certified for this industry in Australia. So my suggested avenues are AVIP website. We have members listing. So anyone that's on a member of our association, we've already discussed and interviewed and and, you know, almost vetted for you. Ingrid runs, it keeps popping up. Ingrid runs Find a VA, the VA Institute. So it's a really, really, really great resource. Find a VA, just Google it. The link is in here. I don't mind if you send out this presentation to everyone if they want the links. But she also trains VAs from the start. She runs courses to set people up as VAs. So, you know, anyone coming out of her training course is going to be well trained as a VA, and they're going to be their own business. They'll have their insurances. Another thing to make sure they've got their public liability. Oh, actually, you probably don't need public liability. I do. I've got it just in case. Public liability, professional indemnity, cyber insurance, so important right now. You know, little things like that a lot of smaller operators probably don't think are important, and the more dodgy ones don't even have. The other place, Virtually Yours, they've got a job board that you can put jobs up on as well. Really quality VAs on there as well. If you're looking for outsourcing overseas, I suggest Global Teams and speaking with Maureen or Carmen. Global Teams have, I think they're up to about, they've got an office in Manila. They've got a team of about 40 or 50 VAs, and they are excellent. They are, a lot of them are customer facing. They are absolutely spot on, really good. And then I do have a couple of others. Virtual 360 is another, they go out and they source an overseas person with a particular skill set. You might need a developer, or you might need you want a virtual assistant as a developer or whatever. They will go overseas and source somebody for you to employ via them, but specifically for you. Okay. Interview them as you would any other team member. Get to know them. There has to be that chemistry, as I said before. It's an extension, a VA is an extension of you and your business. So you want to have trust in that person, that they are going to be the right person, the right fit for your business, and set them up to succeed. Give them all the access they require to perform their role. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks for a VA to settle in, depending on the skill level, I guess, and the actual tasks. And they can be self-sufficient. I mean, look, some of my team, we can hit the ground running instantly, but not with everyone. It just depends. So spend a little bit of additional time in the first 2 to 4 weeks with them so that they can understand you, they can get to know you, find that common ground, go out and have a drink if they are local. Even though we're virtual, yes, we can do something from anywhere, but if they do live locally, or they're planning a trip to your state or whatever, see if you can catch up, because it's really important to meet at least once or twice face to face, because it does help with that connection. And communication is key. You just have to communicate. If you're not happy with something, we can't know that you're not happy. Give us feedback so that we can change, or we can plan together how we are going to manage that going forward. I'll tell a little quick story, and this is where this actually comes from. I was employed as an EA 15, 20 years ago to a building company. It was a team of 7, the owner. And so the day I arrived, we were working out of his, he was renovating his house. Basically, it was just a frame, and he had his bedroom that was enclosed, and that was it. So we were working, you know, it was under a roof, but it had a frame, and then they were wrapping around it, and that was about it. I arrived there, and he said, okay, so I don't have a separate computer for you, but you can share with the accountant when he comes in. He came in for 2 hours on a Tuesday and 2 hours on a Thursday. And I said, well, how do I do meeting agendas? How do I, you know, how do I do the minutes of the meetings that we go out on site and have? How am I supposed to order things? Oh, you'll work it out. So I was employed for a full-time job with no resources, no computer, no nothing. And yeah, it just didn't work out. So please set your VA up to succeed. Give them everything they need. Ask them, have I missed anything? Do you need anything else? Check in a week later. Right, so now we gave you everything initially, but is there something we've missed, or is there something else you want? You know, just keep that open line of communication going. We have WhatsApp chats with our customers. We have messenger chats. We even do Zooms with some customers and just have them on in the background all day, every day. Just so that we can unmute and say, I've just got a question about this. And they yep. How can I help you? And it's just like sitting next to somebody in an office. It's super easy, but it's communication is key. Thank you very much. Sorry, I know I rushed through and I probably went way over, but I hope you got something valuable out of that.